I have never taken the trolley, but I love the bell.
Charlottesville community may see VA students as maybe being like stuck up or, you know, in their own little college world.
Stuck up, yucky douchebags. The students at UVA, a lot of them are really rude. You know, they come from families with a lot of money and they think they own the world pretty much. Some of them are cool. I've met a couple of cool students, but as a local, I've lived in Charlottesville my whole life. They're not very nice. They don't really take care of the town and they don't really contribute enough, I feel like.
You know, we have the Madison House projects, and I think the UVA community tries to give a lot back to the community through the Madison House projects.
There's a lot of cool ones, but a lot of them are just very uppity. A lot of sorority girls are like, oh my God! It's just really ridiculous. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the UVA students.
In fact, my friend and I were just having a conversation the other day where we thought that UVA is just such a college community. Like, it doesn't seem like it's an actual city to us. It just seems like a place where we go to school. And I don't know, like we even said it doesn't seem like real life. Like, we just go here to go to school.
A lot of UVA kids don't like Charlottesville people, which, get over it. We were here first. You go to this big school, everybody here usually has something to do with UVA. We work there, we work at the places around there. Have respect for us. You moved from where you came from to go to school in our town and you're going to be rude to us? I don't appreciate it. I've lived here 20 years and, you know, you've been here, what, 3? And you're going to be rude to me? You know, do what you do, but have respect for the people that live in the town that your college is placed in.
I feel segregated from the Charlottesville community.
It's not good when you have a sense of otherness, you know? When the self creates an other, it's a poison. But the trolley could be a place for that poison to, you know, be sweated out.
What is the trolley? It's free and it comes on campus, so a lot of people do take the trolley.
I think anytime you have transportation that's easily accessible by anybody is always good.
It's fascinating. If you're to do an ethnography and sit on the trolley and watch people, it's fascinating. And it is probably one of the only places where the university community and the Charlottesville community interact.
And some drivers are super friendly and they're very kind and they do their job really well.
When we first started the trolley, there wasn't a lot of people riding it, and we used to leave from downtown and we'd come all the way up Main Street. We would take the road by the hospital, but we would have to go around by the Scott Stadium, and when we come back downtown, then we would go all the way out, 20 South, going to Piedmont College and the Visitor Center on the trolley. But now we don't do that now. But at first when we started, that's the way we used to do the trolley.
I know for a fact that some of the trolley drivers sometimes will go out at night, and there's sometimes they pick up random people in the street, and you know there'll be some sort of party going on in the trolley and they go from place to place. Obviously it's not legal, and obviously it's, you know, I don't know who really does it, but I definitely seen it. The trolley, I've seen it out in the country, and I think, wait a second, the trolley's out here in the country. So I think those sort of things happen all the time.
We have GPS systems in our vehicles, and so I can speak with confidence that our vehicles are not in the countryside with parties because we know where they are, and for the most part, after the service day is over, they're parked out here in our bus yard.
There's a Jay-Z song that we were all pretty into at the time.
What was the name of the song?
New York, I'm creaking your wet dream tomato. It's like Empire State of Mind is the name of the song. But so, you know, when that was pumping and we were feeling it, people would stand on some chairs, grab those poles and kind of swing around. And no one actually removed articles of clothing, but I could see it going that way. You know, if we'd had a little more time, we might have arrived at our destination naked.
College towns, for townies, it's almost a badge of honor to not associate with the school. It's like, this is our town. I don't give a damn about the university. I want to be associated with the town, not the school. So therefore, I will remove myself entirely.
I was sitting there like talking to this one guy. He went to UVA, and then his like fraternity brother was like, yo bro, you're not one of us. You can't speak to us.
That's why somebody need to speak up. Maybe we should boycott.
Do you want to hear my opinion?
We are going to be famous and rich.
I don't know.
UVA is a strong presence in Charlottesville. You can't separate Charlottesville from UVA.
I've never been able to link myself with UVA at all. I just feel like I'm an outsider to them, and sometimes I try to mix myself in with that blend, but I always find that it just doesn't feel right because I'm not that person.
I think that Charlottesville meshes really well with the UVA students.
As far as a separation between the city and the students, I think there is, especially like the downtown area and the corner.
I don't think there's too much of a separation.
I guess UVA is a little bit more on the preppier, finer side of life, and Charlottesville is a little bit more of, more in tune with, more granola, I guess.
We've both got friends that go to UVA, and we can still hang out with them.
The UVA parties that I went to in my senior year of high school, I got a really bad impression.
There were many times where I went to like university parties and like they were shut down because the Charlottesville regulars wanted to come and like fight.
Especially at parties. Yeah. Best. The bomb. That's the only time I like them being here, when they're doing parties and stuff. That's the good time.
Like the students and the Charlottesville regulars get into fights. And then there are university parties where there aren't like any people without UVA IDs allowed, and they're fine.
We come from a different background or whatever, so I mean, if we go up there, the background that we come from can't really like, sometimes you gotta be able to switch up your personality, you gotta, to get in with them, you gotta like, fit, act like them sometimes, I mean, you might not, even though you might not usually act that way, but I mean, that's about the only way you get in with them, like towards the parties, like you get up there, you might chill, talk to somebody for a little while, get to know them, and stuff, and then next time they see you, they'll remember you, and then that's how basically like, we get into parties and stuff like that.
Like I can just tell who's from Charlottesville and who's from the university, and it's like, it's a clear racial difference, but then it's also like, I don't know, it's this physical difference. Like I see a difference in appearance, because even in the way that people dress or whatever, I don't know, coming from New York, maybe I'm biased, but in how they carry themselves, how they speak and dress and stuff, like, you you could definitely see a difference. And
we go there when they're there or they're not there. I mean,
but it's better when they're not there because you know we can have our own time. We chilling. It's not many people out there. Not a lot of people looking at us like we're like
they're cause some trouble. So just because the way how we might dress or whatever.
If there should be like some type of like screening process or some type of way where like not everyone, just any old like regular Joe can just come to UVA and do whatever.
Because they don't know us and they feel like we're not so much as troublemakers, but you know we're dark-skinned people, so you know they feel like we're from the hood and we get in a lot of trouble, drugs and all this other stuff. They don't like us as much because we're from here and we are the color that we are.
So old style, what I prefer, and it's always here, even if it's cold or too hot, what I really like. And then people who use that is like from different classes, like students, working people, old people, young people. It's really awesome. So sometimes actually I take Trolley just because I like to, you know, go with Trolley and that's it.
I think it's more of a, you know, flashback to the times where they had, you know, the electric trolleys and things like that. I mean, there's something, you know, old school about it. You know?
Looks like it would be on a track. You know, it has like the
San Francisco vibe.
yeah, but it's not on the track. It's on the road. But I kind of like that. It's, you know, it's like I could,
it's
like if I find the track. Yeah. But we don't. Yeah, is it equipped?
Has the trolley lost its track?
Maybe the trolley got loose. You know, it was on track somewhere else. And then, like so many of us in Charlottesville, it got unstuck.
I was on the trolley once when a drunk guy was trying to climb out the window, and the bus driver wouldn't stop, so we were all trying to, you know, get him to basically either stop the bus or not climb out the window, and this was the middle of the day.
Trolley driver that drives pretty crazy. I don't know who he is, but yeah, like it's every time you're on his specific trolley, you know who he is, and he goes like fast. It's like a roller coaster, so yeah, it's kind of fun. Like if you get on his trolley, you know it's gonna be a fun time. So.
Well, basically, the drivers really don't know how to drive. I mean, I've been on the trolley plenty of times where, you know, they've gotten into an accident or something like that, and everybody usually get off the bus and start leaving. That's just how it is. But a couple months ago, I got on the trolley and got into an accident, and everybody left.
Okay, well, I have a multicultural of people that ride the trolley with me. Men that get on there and they, you know how they try to intimidate you, like, you know, they would scare you or whatever like that. But I always felt that I could get on the radio and call base and tell them that they could call the police or whatever. And sometimes I would tell that person that if they wasn't happy or whatever, you know, with me driving the trolley, then they could wait for, you know, another one or whatever, and it may be another woman on that one. So and I can get you safely to where you want to go and bring you back downtown too if you just riding around. But we run into a lot of that because, you know, bus driving is predominantly male. But now women's have, you know, come a long ways as far as driving trolleys, you know, street buses, and not only that, you know, tractor trailers or whatever they have that normally males drive a lot. So, yeah, I've had a lot of that too, where people have, mostly males, that have a problem with women driving or whatever. So a lot of things have happened to bus drivers that were really nice, sad things, or people remember you, and sometimes when they come back and they'll ask for you or whatever, they may not remember your name, but they can describe you to that other driver or whatever.
The thing about the local population riding the trolley is that probably most of the people that are riding the trolley that are local are either homeless or extremely poor. So in some senses, it's meeting a really base need for the local population. It's if you want to get from one side to the other, if your job's at UVA and you live downtown, then it's really easy to get around. So the free trolley is it's a funny population. You have your UVA students who don't have transportation, then you have your poor people who don't have transportation. We put the two of them together. It's interesting, but actually I think probably a fruitful mix.
She was on the bus, and she had her baby, and it was wintertime, and she didn't have a coat for the baby. So I just took her by her hand, got off the trolley, went into Kmart, because that was the closest store, and I went by there on a regular bus, not the trolley, and I carried her in there, and we bought a coat, and I bought a coat for her baby because it was too cold, and she didn't have a coat, only had a sweater, and it was like, really past January, February, March, something like that, whatever. And I told her, and she just, was, I guess, I know she was thanking me, even though I couldn't understand her. But I told her that was okay because I have children too. And I hope that if something happened to me like that someone would be nice enough to, help me with my, I have 2 children. But it would be nice if someone helped me. And, she helped me. But I told her, I thanked her, and I hugged her back. And I know she was really grateful for that coat.
And it is my firm impression there's 2 classes of people that ride it. Working people at UVA, very poor people, mostly black, no rich people essentially.
A lot of people that's like myself that's struggling with hard times, and we meet up on a trolley a lot. Sometimes you might see somebody you haven't seen in a long time. Sometimes you get job leads on the trolley. I've had a couple times I actually got a job from riding with somebody on a trolley. They take me to someone retiring on the trolley. I mean, you never know who you run into on the trolley. You always catch a good conversation. You get to converse well on the trolley. I love the trolley. Maybe more comfortable seating. But hey, it's free. That lady, it's a white lady that drives the trolley. She is excellent. She has blonde hair. She's very super friendly. She is one of the best drivers. She gets hot. She gets hot up there.
I've ridden the trolley for over 2 months now. And actually, I think it's a great public service to everyone in Charlottesville. What's wonderful about it is that all sorts of people, young and old, in town, out of town, get to jump on and relax for a few minutes and see the different sides of Charlottesville. The old, so-called luxurious downtown section, yet within a matter of minutes, they're over at UVA, where lots of very enthusiastic, idealistic students are mixing.
It's very important, not just to the students, but to the ones that can't get around, that got kids, like on Sundays, and want to go to church, or want to carry the kids to the park. They only go to a few locations. It is very important that we have a trolley.
Because it only goes to university, so actually the university should help fund it. Because, they're getting more of the service than what downtown is.
Especially on Sunday.
Because all they're doing is really bringing the kids to the bars.
The university financially supports Charlottesville area transit in 2 ways. One is very specifically for the trolley route, and the second way is funding a program whereby students, staff, and faculty can show their UVA ID and ride on any of the CAT buses without paying the fare. So paperwork-wise, we do separate out those two dollar amounts, but if you were to add them up for this year, it's right at around $200,000. It was an intention for the city that it began with the city. They were seeking assistance to be able to offer this frequent and lengthy service free to everyone. We have a federally funded system, and we just try to collaborate as much as possible so that we can share. We co-print our schedule. We have the same GPS bus locator system. We jointly market a bunch of stuff. The ideal is matching the needs of your community.
In general, the bus system here in Charlottesville, you don't see a lot of wealthy people riding the bus, and I think we could work really hard to change that.
I think that they should have a separate trolley for students, because people just shouldn't, it's a beautiful university. You come to yeah, you come to learn and enjoy and experience things, but you don't want to experience that. Like, I mean, life isn't all beautiful and everything, but I still think that we should have like a separate trial.
And I think it would be a really good way to build community in town and get the wealthy class seeing, you know, the working class and the students here and being able to interact and maybe feel a little more human about each other.
On there I had a lot of interesting interactions. I remember one time I had my iPod in and I wasn't really in the mood to talk, so I'm just looking out the window. And there were probably a group of 3 guys my age, but not university students. They were from the community. I don't know if I should use this word, but they were a little bit ghetto, you know, laid-back guys. And I could tell they were kind of whispering, talking about me. And then one of them tapped me on the shoulder and was like, what kind of music are you listening to? I don't remember what it was, but it was something really lame. I didn't want to tell them it was like some woman artist. And I told them, and I don't think they had ever heard of her, but they said they had, and that they liked her a lot. And we started talking a little bit, but it was funny.
On the trolley, which I take back and forth from my department to my apartment, you do get a short interaction with the community, and it does, in a brief moment, open your eyes to the world outside. It's just a brief snippet of the world outside UVA, and I think that's nice and healthy.
I feel a bit secluded from main campus, from the undergrads, the other grad students, PhD students. The university community itself, I feel like, is a little bit too self-segregating, even amongst the students.
My interaction with the Charlottesville community is minimal. Probably a pretty good example of someone who sticks within the UVA community, and even really more constricted community of my department and the few people that are in my class of graduate students. Just proximity and parking and stuff like that, I think we tend to hit the corner more often. So, which sort of limits our interaction with the broader Charlottesville community.
There is a fair amount of tension between the average Charlottesvillian and UVA student, well, not the students per se, but the university in general. The university is probably the town's biggest employer. In fact, it is, but a lot of people seem to believe that the university really owns the town, and there's some hostility, simmering hostility, in the sense that the university is a separate enclave from the rest of the town.
Pretty much anybody I know that was a cool kid in high school or whatever from Charlottesville that went to college, unless you go to a party school or you go to art school, you usually turn into an asshole. College tends to do that to people.
I've met some university students here in the past. Those I've met have been very nice. And, it's true that there are a lot of snobbish students on campus, some very well-to-do people here. But, you know, you have your good elements too. I prefer to look at that.
I haven't seen a lot of interaction between UVA students and Charlottesville people on the trolley, because the people from Charlottesville usually go back from the corner to downtown to JPA, and when you get to JPA, it's usually college kids taking it to the corner, and sometimes on the weekends or at nighttime, there's kids coming down here to drink.
I think it's a good deal for students who simply want to get in the main part of town. And for the rest of the public as well, because it's free. They might consider adding more routes, but that costs money. And I don't know that it's reasonable to expect them to do that. They might consider extending the hours that it operates and posting more prominent signage for the times when it's not operating. A lot of times you'll see students or even townfolk in general who have no idea that there's no transportation on Sunday, for example, after a particular time.
It takes a lot of money to expand it and to offer that for free.
On the weekends and Sundays is only one bus is running, and that's the 7th, you know, and I guess the trolley do run some, but it need to run a little longer.
People do need to go to work, people gotta go to church, and with a Pantone, number 7, number 10 don't run on weekends, and it's not fair.
if we have bus service, say from the corner out to other places, it's going to cut down on drunk driving, you know, especially if it's convenient. This could cut down on crime. This is an important thing. You've got buses running down the road at 3 o'clock in the morning. You guys got a walkie-talkie. People are going to be a lot less likely to hit somebody over the head and take their wallet.
Especially in the evening when you get on the trolley, an interesting percentage of the people are drunk and have had far too much to drink. But more importantly, there are a number of tourists who come in from out of town who have enjoyed the evening, yet suddenly they have to deal with someone falling on them, becoming sick on them, and getting a bit too close.
And each one who tell me thank you, I always respond to each person to tell them, you know, you're welcome or whatever, you know, like that. And even the ones who get on and they may not say anything at all, but when they get off, I always tell them, have a good day, you know, like that. Because sometimes you don't know what people are, you know, what's going on. So you can say a kind word or a smile or whatever. But yes, I do. I really appreciate it when they tell me thank you, because that means that they really appreciate me carrying them from point A to point B.